Hello everybody! Today I would like to tell you about the basic tips on how to make delicious batch brew coffee. Why? Because I see in many coffee shops in Ukraine that this method of drip brew becomes more and more popular, and it makes me very happy. Minimal barista's action. The main part is to choose good coffee, right quality of water, and the perfect grind. I am going to tell you now the most important things to get great filtered coffee. I have very simple coffee brewer, Marco, no extra functions. It has presetted water temperature, the flow rate and the frequency of flows. And I'm going to brew it into the thermopot. I'm sure that it is better to use thermopots for it, because despite of growing popularity of this method, coffee shops often cannot sell ready coffee fast enough, and thermopots keep the quality of the brew much longer than glass jugs on heating plates. After approximately 45 minutes of coffee being heated in the jug, the quinic acid and other bitter stuff content is growing significantly, which makes the taste of coffee burnt, bitter, sourish, not in a very good way. Coffee in the thermopot is not being heated, it just keeps its temperature and then slowly cools down and keeps its quality flavor attributes. Even when cold, it's still good. You may add ice and offer it to your customers as a nice brew. That is why we will brew into the thermopot. The first thing we need to do is to preheat the pot and the brewer. For this, I take half a liter of water and run through the coffee maker. Thus, I preheat both the pot and the brewer. So, your coffee will keep its high temperature much longer. The presetted brewing temperature in this coffee maker is pretty high, 95 degrees, so coffee is extracted very good. Now, let's talk about quantity. We all know the Gold Cup brewing standard, which was developed first in 1952. According to its recommendations, the most balanced drink for Europeans would be if we use 60 grams of grounded coffee per liter. Americans would prefer 50-55 grams per liter, and also Nordic, Scandinavian countries will choose 70 grams per 1 liter of water. You may choose the recipe according to your taste preferences. As for me, I would rather go with the smaller amount of coffee to obtain the higher extraction. More water is working with the coffee, and therefore more solubles are dissolved, so we can extract more from smaller amount of coffee grounds. Less for me is not 50, rather 55-60 grams per liter. Today I am gonna use 60 grams per liter and will brew 1.5 liters. So I have almost 90 grams of coffee, which I will now grind. So, the coffee brewer and thermopot are preheated. Big warning, don't forget to get rid of the water inside before start brewing. This happens to me sometimes. So after that, we put a filter into the filter holding cup. The paper filter should fit the size of the cup. And now the grind. I have chosen Ethiopian Arabica, washed, very dense beans, the first grade, so I chose a coarser grind. I often see the mistake where the grind is too coarse or too fine. For this amount, I chose the size of regular rock salt. Take a close-up. Yeah, like salt. You must feel these coarse fractions, because you need to run 1.5 liters of water through this coffee pot. We set it in and pour the water. For this brew, I use reverse osmosis with mineralization. It has 150 parts of solids per million parts of water. It is good for proper brewing of coffee. There is a point. My coffee will absorb approximately 150 milliliters of water. This water will just stay in the grounds. That is why I prefer to take water with a little extra. I took around 75 milliliters more than I need according to my recipe. And pour. And coffee starts to brew. The principle of such brewers is that they pour water onto coffee with certain intervals. Less water you pour into the brewer, lesser time it will take to brew your coffee. From my experience, the brewer which is counted to prepare 2 liters of coffee will give the best result, brewing 1.5 liter. To brew 1 liter, it takes less time. So to keep balance, you need finer grind. But you will not increase time noticeably. Here you can only change the size of the grind. If you want more solubles in your coffee, there are 2 ways: to take more coffee or to grind finer. If you take more coffee, it will hold water for some seconds and you will get more acids, salts and dusts. If you make finer grind, you will have more solids of all kinds that are present in roasted coffee, extracted into your brew. So, coffee is brewing. It normally takes around 5 minutes. There are coffee brewers where you can set the rate of water flow, the quantity of water streams that wet the coffee bed. You can choose the temperature and time, but this one not like that. Nevertheless, you will get a coffee of decent quality. I mean, it's not necessary to spend lots of money for brewing equipment. You just need coffee of good quality and quantity, proper knowledge of brewing techniques, and water of proper chemical composition. Our coffee is ready, but we should remember that coffee dissolves in layers. The bottom layer is mostly acids, salts and dust. It is very thick and it's hard to mix it without proper agitation. You may mix it with this pump, just like this. In my opinion, it is not quite good. Coffee does not mix properly from the first to the last cup, so we can do it in such way. We take some amount of coffee, let's say 200 milliliters, and pour back. In such way, I mix all the layers, and you may repeat to mix properly. The thermodynamics itself works here to help when you pour and mix. By the way, the foam on top tells us that oil's extracted, and we may expect nice, smooth body with rich texture. In such a way, we get batch brew coffee properly brewed. Enjoy!